Jersey numbers tell a story. Some might be lucky, others attribute to a favorite player. Without words, athletes can honor someone who has meant a great deal to them. And that is why Morgan Bullock dons a patch with the number 8, so she can honor the courage, integrity, and love of her brother. Morgan and Jacob Bullock grew up like most siblings. Since Morgan was older, she mostly got her way.
It was a good one. It was a typical older sister, younger brother relationship. I mean, he liked to get on my nerves, liked to, I don't know, he was just, it was typical. It wasn't any different from anybody else.
Yet none of that deterred Jacob from looking up to his big sister, including when it came time to pick his football jersey number.
I love that number 8. You know, his sister wore number 8, so he was, you know, when he got the opportunity to choose his number, he wanted to wear the same number that she wore.
I wasn't surprised by it. I was like, I'm glad he wants to wear my number, and everyone's going to remember our jerseys in high school, Bullock number 8.
While sports came more naturally to Morgan, Jacob's work ethic made him a rising star on his football team.
He just loved football. He was an amazing football, and you know, a stud on his team, if I could say that. But he was a pretty good football player, so we enjoyed watching him play. That was his passion.
Jacob was always working. He would be watching TV and throwing a football into the couch, or I don't know, working on some footwork while he's eating. I mean, he was always trying to get better.
Maybe one day he would follow in his sister's footsteps, playing at a Division I school as Morgan was about to start her first season playing softball at her dream school, Florida State.
I was excited. I was dreaming about it. I was wondering like what uniform we were gonna wear, how I was gonna do, if I was gonna play. I was just kind of like, I can't wait. I've been dreaming about this day for I don't know how long.
But on January 9th, 2010, just a month before her first softball season, Morgan received a call from her mother that would change her life. It had been an unusually cold and snowy winter in Georgia. Snowfall coupled with below freezing temperatures caused lakes and other bodies of water to freeze, something most kids in the state had never seen.
I had heard 2 days before that that winter of 2009-2010 had been the coldest winter in Georgia in like 200 years. We had never seen ponds freeze. Jacob had maybe seen snow twice in his life, you know, so kids had never seen anything like that.
After meeting up to play basketball earlier in the day, Jacob and 2 of his friends, Marvin Mathurin and Alex Paul, decided to test the ice at a lake that had frozen over in the Bullock subdivision. As they ventured out onto the lake, the ice broke. Marvin's fell into the water. Jacob and Alex attempted to rescue their friend, but during their attempt, Jacob fell in too. Rescue workers arrived and pulled the 2 out, but after more than an hour in the water, it was too late.
She was at work. I was at home. I got a call from a friend's dad, one of Jacob's friend's dad, and he said, "Jay, have you heard?" I said, no, what's going on? At that time, I heard a helicopter, but you know, then it went faint, so I didn't pay any attention because it was flying kind of low. And then when I got the call, the helicopter came back. I mean, it was real loud then, and so I went down, and that was at the lake in our subdivision, and so that day was really like my heart sunk.
Heidi's first response was to call Morgan's roommate and fellow teammate Tiffany Brown.
And I called Tiffany to brace Tiffany so that she would be ready for Morgan.
You know, she basically just told me, I'm calling you. I need you to be strong. And I broke down for a minute. Then I, snapped back and was like, well, I got to be strong for Morgan right now.
And then she called Morgan.
She's like, "Okay, I have some news. Are you sitting down?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm in bed." And then she was like, "Okay, so Jacob was in the hospital, and he was playing on the lake." And I was like, "Oh, well, is he okay?" Like, I was just thinking, he's all right. And he was like, "No, he didn't make it." And at first, I was like, "Wait a minute, what does that mean?" It didn't even register. I was like, "What does that even mean?" Like, he didn't make what? Like, he didn't make it. I don't know. She had to like explain it, and then after that, I just couldn't even. I don't know. I dropped the phone, started crying. My roommate came and gave me a hug.
As devastated as Morgan was, she had her family away from home. The entire Seminole softball team traveled to Jacob's funeral to support her.
I knew that Morgan was going to need some help through the tough time. She was very close with her brother and her family, and in order for us as a family, outside her family, to see that environment and to meet some people that were involved in her growing up and her and her brother relationship, and so we could kind of understand, never going to fully understand, but kind of understand a little bit, just a little part of it, was going to be big for us, and how to help her when she was down here.
It was amazing, amazing, and it's unexplainable, like how much it meant to me and how much it made a difference in, you know, my life and how I'm dealing with the loss of my brother. After you know, the outpouring from the coaches and outpouring from the athletics, FSU athletics, I knew, I was like, it was meant for me to be here.
To have them still there and rallying around her and Coach Alameda and finding her the counseling that she needs and making sure she got the help that she needed. You know, of course she wanted to make an impact on the program.
We are family away from her family, and we were there, like, we are your backbone, and so I think that's what it showed for her.
The Bullock family has worked hard to bring a positive light to Jacob's death. Heidi and Jay started a foundation in Jacob's name, committed to providing scholarships, mentoring, youth programs, and activities that encourage personal responsibility and motivate positive choices. As for Morgan, thanks to her coaches and teammates, she honors Jacob every time she steps on the field.
Coach Alameda and our equipment manager, just I think they you know, collaborated and thought about it, and you know, it meant a lot.
I think they decided to do that before she even came back, because she told me, you know, they're putting Jacob's number on my jersey, and that was just awesome. She wore that number for so long and wanted to wear it here, but when she came, you know, it was already occupied. So, you know, to have it there, and every time I see her, it just, you know, come out in that jersey, it just reminds me of him and just how much she was his hero. You know, so to have that number there is just awesome.
I think it's just a good reminder for her and for us too, you know, that having that even-keeled mentality and the reality of what sport means to life is just a constant reminder in her chest.
Now Morgan can share her brother's story with one simple number.
Having number 8 on my jersey, it reminds me of Jacob. You know, even though he, you know, kind of wanted the number from me, I now want it for him. And while he was looking up to me, it's like I'm looking up to him now. And whenever I see it on my jersey, I'm just kind of reminded, like, hey, he's with me. Hey, he's on my shoulder. Hey, he's, you know, he's cheering me on when I don't do well, or he's telling me I need to get out there and work, or it's just a small reminder of, you know, that my brother's always with me when I'm playing.